This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. So there's this really cool website out there. At least I think it's cool. It's called zenhabits.net. And this guy named Leo writes these posts there. And there's nothing sexy about the website or anything. It's black and white. Literally black and white. But a lot of what he says, if one allows themselves to think about being an entrepreneur, to think about being a trend-following trader, and in this case, this particular post that he made the other day, I think is right in the trend-following sweet spot. And the post is called The Wisdom of Allowing Things to Happen. And he makes the point that our Western societies, we're doers, we're creators. It's our destiny. And we make things happen. We don't just wait for things to happen. And now there's going to be some people out there, they're going to pick a point here and they're going to think they're finding an angle on me and my Achilles heel. Just bear me out for a sec, hear it out. Like, yes, we do have to wake up each day. We have to learn. There are certain things we have to do. But ultimately, the wisdom of allowing things to happen. And so, allowing things to happen is not normal in Western society. It's not the way we're normally supposed to go about it. We're not supposed to be passive. Okay, complete, honest announcement here. And I'm pretty good. I'm actually pretty good at it. At least that's what my yoga instructor says. So yes, I'm 4 weeks into yoga. And I have to admit, the physical part and the mental part is right there in line with, once again, I'm going to get into this, but this post of the wisdom of allowing things to happen, and something like yoga is very kind of mind-body type, what do we call it? I don't call it exercise. I don't think it's the best word. No, mind-body connection, but well, anyways. Let me read part of this post. This is what I really want to get to, which is this post from zenhabits.net about allowing things to happen. And I'm going to read part of this because I'm actually going to read most of it and we'll kind of comment on it and walk through it from a trend following perspective. Number one, this control we think we have over our lives and our destinies, it's an illusion. As the guy who had his life turned upside down by a heart attack, the woman who lost her father to death and had to drop everything, the family who lost their home to a hurricane, the entrepreneur that was doing well until the economy collapsed and no one was spending, the hardworking employee who was laid off when the economy tanked, the cyclist who was hit by a car, the car that skidded because someone ran onto the road who hadn't been obscured, the mom whose son had autism and despite her doing everything right during pregnancy. It happens every day where we think we're in control, but we're really not. Do we control all the people around us who affect our lives so intimately? Do we control the overwhelming power of nature? There's so much out of our control that we think is control, and it's all an illusion. I mean, it's tough, man, right? I mean, the best you can do is what you can do right now in the moment of now. You can't control the outcome. You can work on the process. You can work on the right now. You can take a step right now. You want to be a good trader right now? You can follow a process that allows you to deal with the right now. What are the markets doing right now? I mean, that's what trend following is preoccupied with, right? The right now. You make a decision based on what's happening right now. You don't make a decision based on what's happening 2 weeks from now when you imagine the instant riches that are going to all of a sudden show up. No. That's not what you're doing. Let me read number 2. I like this one. This is because listen, I was lucky enough, even though I grew up in suburban Virginia, truly 15 miles outside DC, my parents were smart enough to buy this large tract of land in the suburbs. It was this rundown house, an old farmhouse at the time. It was a huge piece of land compared to all the neighbors. And so the house was pretty junky growing up. It's fixed up now. It's nice now. I mean, they've done well, but growing up, it was this, kind of junky house, old farmhouse on nearly 3 acres of land. So, I was lucky enough to grow up with, how many different animals did we have? We had, now mind you, this is in the middle of suburbia. Okay. This is not like a farm by any stretch of the imagination. So it was pigs, goats, geese, ducks, turkeys, chickens. I said geese. What else? I think that's about it. That's a pretty good assortment. I mean, there used to be like 100 free-range chickens running around our backyard. Our freaking black labs would go out there and just kill these things for lunch. They come walking into the house with a chicken, hanging out of their mouth, halfway moving, blood covered all over them, So anyways, let me read number 2 and you'll see where I was going with the whole farm analogy. Number 2, to control your cow, give it a bigger pasture. That's a great quote from Zen master Suzuki Roshi talking about controlling your mind. And once again, this is Leo from Zen Habits talking. I'm reading his passage, and he goes on to say, I see the cow and her pasture as a form of allowing things to happen. Instead of tightly controlling something, you're opening up, giving it more room, a bigger pasture. The cow will be happier, will roam around, will do as she pleases, and yet your needs will also be met. The same is true of anything else. Stepping back and allowing things to happen means things will take care of themselves, and your needs will also be met. And you've done no work. Okay, trend following right now. I mean, I've got these folks that they just must follow what I do, right? And maybe they admire what I'm doing, but they're skeptical of trend following. So every time they hear a negative, like, trend following was down 3% for a month, they send me emails or they post. It's like, this is big news to them. They're like, oh, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's down 3% for the month. Write Covel an email. It's almost over. I apologize if I sound slightly psychotic today. This is what happens when you drink too much green tea, which I do. So I'm not even sure where I'm going with that. But I mean, the larger point is that trend following is about allowing something to happen, right? Okay. So the guy that wants to complain or think he's, the prosecutorial attorney who's just, he's just gotcha by the 3% down for the month, he's missing the big point. The big point is trend following is about your cow and giving it a pasture to roam. That's what you're doing. You're not trying to give the cow a 6 foot by 6 foot pen so it can't move. You're not trying to give it a bear hug so it can't move. You're not helping the cow by holding on to the cow all day long. You can't control the damn cow. You can't control the market. Look, I'm fully cognizant that the major financial newspapers, the major financial TV shows make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, by telling you that they can control the cow. That's what they do. They tell you, I can control the cow. Watch this. And so they tell you on Tuesday they can control the cow. On Wednesday, their controlling didn't work. And by Thursday, they're telling you they can control the cow again. It just doesn't work. It's all nonsense. Let me go back to Leo's post real quick. This is number 3 on his post. This is great stuff. I mean, if you don't think this is great stuff, and if you just think I'm giving you some philosophic treatise that doesn't make any sense to you, and you're just saying, oh, Covel's passing the buck, he's not giving me anything technical. I don't have anything technical. I'm going to go on Amazon and whine about why Covel's books are not technical, and I'm not learning anything, and I'm going to go somewhere else. Oh my God. I hear these trolls. They come around. It's like completely nuts. I'm like, listen, I told some guy the other day, I was like, dude, go troll somewhere else. I really don't care. Anyways, back to number 3 on Leo's post. You have to be, I say, hold on, let me read that again. Number 3, you have less stress, less to worry about. Imagine allowing things to happen naturally and things work out. And all you did was smile and watch. You don't have to worry about shaping things, about controlling something that doesn't want to be controlled. You don't have to push and fix leaks and put out fires. You just let things work on their own. They happen. They happen. So the guy out there that wants to write me an email and say, trend following was down 3%. Covel, trend following doesn't work. It sucks. It's going to blow up. The world is ending. You must get a new job. You must do something else. No, you don't understand how the world works. Things just happen. I can't tell you when the next meltdown's coming. I can't tell you what's going to blow up next. I can't tell you how QE4 is not going to work and when it's not going to work and what's going to happen to the markets when it all doesn't work. But we all know that there is no, omnipotent force that's taking care of everything. Yes, they might pacify you. They put you to bed at night and they tuck you in and Bernanke tucks your little blanket in and puts a pacifier in your mouth and you go to sleep each night and you're like, I'm on Bernanke's side. It's all good. Okay, you can go that direction. But guess what? You don't live forever. So everyone's in the timing game. You're going to have to determine at what point in time you want to use your money. So what are you going to do? You're just going to trust that system? No. If you go the trend following away, once again, it's about allowing room, no control. I mean, there's control that you can make a decision and you can put a trend following system together and you can follow it, but you don't control the markets. You don't control how much money you're going to make tomorrow. Capiche? Let me read number 4 from Leo's post. Once again, I'm reading from zenhabits.net. Well, actually, I'm reading parts from zenhabits.net, and then I'm obviously adding a bunch of my, whatever I call this, into the mix. Number 4. This is so trend following. Number 4. Things will surprise you. Let's say you're allowing something to happen. You might want it to go a certain way, a certain outcome. That's your goal. But what if you let go of this idea? And by the way, I did read this the other day for the Jason Gerlach podcast, so I'm rereading it. That's your goal. But what if you let go of this idea? What if you say, I don't know what will happen? By the way, you really don't. What if you say, let's see what happens? Then things will happen, but not the way you planned. The outcome might be completely different than you had hoped for, but it can still be great, just different. It might even be wonderful and surprising. Surprises are good if we accept that things always change and that change is good. I did this podcast with Dave Stendhal, and we were talking about change. You have to have a system to prepare for change. But once again, let's see what happens. You might as well, I could have named my book, instead of calling it Trend Following, I could have called it Let's See What Happens. Let's see what happens. I mean, I give myself a little gold star for coming up with the good branding of using the phrase trend following. And by the way, I had a major hedge fund the other day. It's pretty funny. We were talking about various joint ventures, and they said, I don't think the person I was talking with, they knew a lot about me, but I guess we're not following all details, and maybe we're underestimating some things. And the question was, well, is trendfollowing.com for sale? And I think that my response kind of took this person by surprise. I was like, you can't afford it. And they kind of looked at me like, what are you talking about? We run a $1 billion fund. We can afford anything. But we didn't keep going on it. But they can't afford it, honestly, because the amount of money that it's worth is not what they want to spend. So it's not a discussion. Frankly, it's not for sale. It's too much fun for me running trendfollowing.com. And that's the objective, right? To have a little fun, right? So it's too much fun for me running it and helping folks and getting them to see these different perspectives. What am I going to do selling the domain name? And by the way, a funny story just to interject on this. So years ago, and I know I've mentioned this before, but years ago, I had a chance, I guess multiple times, but I was having a conversation with Jerry Parker, one of the Turtles. and we're in his office, and he wanted to buy trendfollowing.com from me. And I guess I had not known it at the time that he had gone ahead and registered trendfollowing.net. So it was the big three: trendfollowing.com, trendfollowing.net, and trendfollowing.org. I had the .com, I had the .org. Unbeknownst to me, because I guess for whatever reason I was not paying attention at the time. This is probably over 10 years ago. So he registered the .net. So all this time goes by, I haven't paid attention, or at least to the fact that he owned .net. And so the other day I was going through domains, and I realized, I was like, gosh, who owns trendfollowing.net? And I was like, because there's no website there. I was like, gosh, did I mess up on that? Did I not register it? Completely forgot. Go in, do the domain check for the who is. I see trendfollowing.net. It's owned by Chesapeake Capital. It made me remember the whole story of how that actually went down. So very interesting, or at least interesting to me, perhaps. Anyways, let me read number 5 from Leo. Once again, I'm reading from zenhabits.net. This is a post called The Wisdom of Allowing Things to Happen. Number 5, you learn how things work. Instead of trying to make things work the way you want them to work, just watch them work. You'll learn more about human nature, about the nature of the world, as you see things work without you controlling it. It might change you. Yeah, it does. I have to admit, it does change you. And then you know what happens is you can't talk to 95% of the people, because 95% of the people are these human droid-like vessels that line up. They do their 9 to 5. They line up on Friday. They gear up for the family caravan where they go to Walmart. I'm not picking on Walmart, but that whether you're rich or poor, that's what they all do. They line up to go to the Walmart Target caravan for Saturday morning, and they go in and they buy plastic trinkets that when they're finished, they eventually give the Goodwill, that I think have a secret conveyor belt back to China where they melt the plastic down to more crap, and then they send it back to Walmart with probably within 6 months, where the same person comes back and buys the same shit. And so they repeat this process over and over and over again. So yes, I think Leo's got a point at Zen Habits that if you allow yourself to think differently, if you allow that cow to have more pasture to roam, if you start to realize what's the end goal, what are you trying to achieve? Makes a lot of sense. But you're going to be on an island. You got to be comfortable being alone on that island. You're not going to have, the masses are not going to, the masses want to eat you. I mean, basically the way I can tell you this is as an independent kind of entrepreneur, researcher, trader, author, filmmaker, whatever label somebody wants to call me. The masses always want to eat you, literally want to eat you. I mean, they want to see success. They want to wish you well, but the reality is the masses just want to eat you. Physically, they literally do not want you to exist, because you make them cognizant that they are not taking a chance. They're not taking a risk. They're not doing anything. They're going through the motions. They're once again lining up the family caravan to go for the Walmart Target shopping spree on Saturday morning, where they buy the plastic stuff that gets shrunken back down to more plastic stuff within 6 months. They buy it again, repeat the process. And at some point in time, some kind of, I don't know what they think. Does some kind of magic happen in their lives with this whole process? I'm not being judgmental. As my yoga instructor has said, there's no judgment here. Look at that. I'm not passing any judgment on the Walmart Target shopping excursion. The wisdom of allowing things to happen is rock central to life success, entrepreneurial success, or trend following success. Rock central. I mean, I guess you could disagree with me, but and I'm not trying to give you every last explanation in this post. I want you to go read the post. I want you to listen to my words. It's an ongoing dialogue. Till next time. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.